They start transferring the weight. It's very exciting. Now with more on tonight's class, let's send it over to the third member of our team, Ted Brunson.
All right, Kenny, thank you very much. We had a lot of moisture earlier in the day, big rainfall, but now we're ready for some pulling. It's the start of the 07 points race right here in Salem. Behind me, the Hot Rod Semis. Man, you're talking 20,000 pounds of steel with power plants in excess of 4,000 horsepower. They're diesel powered, of course, water injected, and all on DOT tires. They do have a 4-turbo max. Some of these machines are only using 1 turbo. We'll see how that works out. Let's talk about the track. This is a man-made track out here in Salem. 100% clay. 100 tri-axle dump trucks brought this stuff in. It seems like it's going to hook up really well, but the middle of the track, a lot of the racers are saying it's going to get soft and a little sandy. We'll see if that doesn't pack into the pan, and these guys are just pulling nothing once they get to about the 250-foot mark. Nonetheless, it's a lot of power, a lot of smokestacks blowing hard. The fans are going to love it. I'm out of here. These guys are a lot bigger than I am.
Great call there, Ted. And the first one out, a historic-looking truck driven by Joe Metzger, Super Joe Metzger, they call him, out of Shelby, Ohio. It's called the Bronchosaurus, a 1971 model Brockway. Boy, and Leslie, right there about mid-track where Ted was talking about it, you can really hear that engine pull down.
It may get a little slushy in the middle of the track, but you're also going to notice that that is when the weight transfer box was moving up and all that weight was being applied. Remember, these things 20,000 pounds, but they've got that big long stretched frame to spread it out over. That hook going in at the back, they've got to really concentrate their weight at the rear.
Next one up, you can see the Kenworth coming out here, getting ready to hook up. In the meantime, let's send it to Ted.
All right, Joe, I know you had some hope. You tested the track the first run, got to go out there again. 267, obviously not going to do it. Just a lot of big boys out here right now.
Yep, and a lot of big guys, and we're just trying to get this truck dialed in for the season. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Moser Industrial Services, Mike Larrabee with the Shameless, helping me put this thing together and putting me in it this year to run it. And hopefully he can do real good and come out of here with a win tonight.
By the way, for those of you keeping track at home, that was a V12 Detroit side of the Brockway. Up next will be a KTA 600 Cummins, the truck owned by Paul Riggle and Sons Trucking, but driven here by Tom Lindsay. So we'll get this big Kenworth hooked up to the sled, find out what he can do, and we're also going to send it back down to Ted for his dark horse pick.
All right, Ken, let's talk about some of the front runners here in the Hot Rod Semi competition. Now, of course, last year, Tom Lindsay was the 06 points champion. He's driving a different diesel today because he blew his up in the dyno. His wife, Dana, driving red, hot, and rolling. She's always a good contender. But I'm looking out for my dark horse today, Mike Larrabee. He's in the Shameless truck. He's only got 1 turbo. He blew that turbo up last week. It's rebuilt, ready to go. He might have some really strong pulls today.
We'll see him a little later in the show. Right now, it's all about Tom Lindsay and the Black Thunder.
Tom was a big helper in putting the Black Thunder together for the Riggles to bring it out here. He's been pulling since 1993, and that diesel Dr. truck of his is always really tough.
And a great job there for Tom Lindsay. 3:15.99, and the KTA 600 Cummins goes to work hard.
You saw it kind of twist off the line there and lots of that black smoke rolling out. When you see the black smoke, that when we get a good mixture of fuel and water and air going into that engine, creating lots and lots of horsepower. Gets it out there to the end. I think he's going to be real close to the full pull.
Tom, just like the 06 champ you were last year, come out smoking. This isn't even your rig. You blew yours up in dyno. This thing worked pretty well. 3:15.99.
Oh, yeah, it felt good. Regal team and my team, we worked together. You know, just like one big happy family.
No, you're pretty happy right now. Let's talk about this track, though. Some guys were not real happy, or they were a little wary about this. You had the first, full distance pull. How did it feel to you?
Oh, feels good. Ready to go to the pull-off.
Well, he's anticipating someone to join him out there at 3:15. Come on back. We'll find out if anybody can do it. Welcome back to the General Tire Hoosier Classic Truck and Tractor Pull here at Salem Speedway in Salem, Indiana. We have the Hot Rod Semis coming at you. Ken Stout with you, Leslie Mears alongside, and Ted Brunson is trackside as they hook up J.R. Flock's truck called the Wildfire.
Now he's going to take a little bit more time to get off the line. He is running an automatic transmission in this Hot Rod Semi, so he's got to bring up the RPMs, hold in that brake as hard as he can, again and as long as he can until he gets the RPMs that he wants. There you see the smoke going, air moving through, lots of good mixture with the fuel.
And talk about launching, a lot of speed headed down the track there, 300.52. We've not set the full pull mark as of yet, but the V12 Detroit, backed by that Allison transmission, really launched hard.
Well, and you can kind of see right now the cab is a little bit sideways, going off to that left side of your screen. It's where all that horsepower pouring to the ground is creating torque and just twisting that frame. Good shot right there. You can also see the intake for the turbos on the front side there. Without that air coming in, remember that engine's going to be less efficient, going to run hotter, and not going to create as much horsepower.
A little sideways right there at the very end. We'll go on board. Pretty busy inside that cockpit right there. Let's send it down to 10.
JR, 300 feet. Of course, the line has not been set yet, but you gave that crowd a thrill. I think got a little squirrely there at the end.
Yeah, it was the track's biting, and it sort of throws you one way or the other. But I hope 300 foot's the full pull mark. At least I can get another try at it.
Exactly. You want to be in that pull-off. Let's talk about this clay. I think the moisture might have helped it out a little bit, pack it down. If it stays moist like this, everybody should be able to hook up pretty well.
Right. It's a biting track. It's a power track right now.
All right, next up will be Dana Lindsay, wife of Tom Lindsay. The name of the truck, Red Hot and Rolling. You can see that one puffing there. This is a Peterbilt. Once again, a KT 600 Cummins underneath the hood.
Definitely a seasoned driver, up past national champion. She is always in the hunt. And I tell you what, she's got a lot of things happening on this thing, and she knows what she's doing up there.
The rear wheels on the sled up in the air. It was applying all the weight to the dirt it could possibly get there, and still she goes 330 feet.
She really torques hard off the line. And you see the front end just kind of dancing a little bit on the dirt. Watch that front just a tiny little bit. See those DOT tires sinking down in the back. Remember, these things are road grade. No cut tires back there. So it's the same thing that you'd see on a tractor trailer out there on the road. She's really got this weight distribution figured out. And I tell you what, the fans really love all those sparks.
We'll go on board.
These guys running a 40-mile-per-hour gear, so if they were really out on the road, that's about how fast that they'd be running.
Dana, that run was sparkalicious. The crowd just loved it. 330.
Yeah, it felt really, really good. This was an awesome track, a good biter, and the truck seemed to hook up really well.
If the moisture stays the way it is right now, you anticipate going even further next time?
Oh, I hope. They're going to set that sled pretty heavy, though, so we'll see. Usually it runs better the second time, so we'll see what happens.
Next up, another one of the Wriggles. This will be Mark Riggle, 1984 Kenworth, the cab over, obviously, with a KT 600 Cummins underneath.
You know, Ken, Ted brings up a great point about the moisture coming up out of the track. These guys are the first class of the evening. That Southern Indiana sun going to go down here on this Lucas Oil Propylene event at the Salem Speedway.
And the full pull mark has been set at 310, as you can see up on the screen. Unfortunately for Mark Riggle, he will lay up just a couple feet short of that.
It seems like he makes a lot of power coming off the line so he can get that sled really moving and grooving, but it just kind of gives out on him about halfway. Lots of black smoke, and you'll notice it's kind of billowing around the stack. It wasn't a nice, clean, narrow stream, having a hard time moving that air up out of there fast.
Mark Riggle, the 2004 National Points Champion, one of the best out here, pulls 308 feet. There's one of the Lucas Oil Propylene League officials. That's Big John, giving the driver the green flag, and once they're done, he throws a red flag, and that'll wrap it up. Come on back. Welcome back to the General Tire Hoosier Classic Truck and Tractor Pulls. We take an overhead look. Tom White backing up a truck called the Black Sheep. It's the Bighorn Series Dodge. It has a 3406B Cat engine underneath the hood. It's a great-looking ride.
You saw all those 100-pound weights stacked up on the rear end. Want to get that weight back there to that hooking point to make sure once the sled is fully engaged, that box is topped off, that they've got it where they need it.
And problems right off the bat for Tom White with the Black Sheep. Certainly, the black smoke in conjunction with the white smoke would be a good indicator that there was no shortage of fuel, but some sort of mechanical problem here right up the line, Leslie.
Well, we've got lots and lots of good black smoke, and then it's like the water gave out. We just not got the right mixture of fuel and water and air. Very, very crucial out here. Gear setting's very important, but more important, the fuel, the water, the air, mixing in that engine, creating horsepower.
All right, Ken, behind me here, Tom White hooking up the Black Sheep Semi one more time. Didn't get past the 100-foot mark. He had an air problem. That's all fixed. They're giving him a chance to get down to that 310 mark to get into the pull-off.
And the 100-foot mark that Ted speaks of is the official mark. That means if you get past that, it's an official pull. If you lay up short of that, you get another shot at it.
So you see him just bringing up the RPM slowly here, trying to figure out where his problem is to see if it's going to come off the line or not.
And Leslie, it looks like his day is going to be done here. He's trying to get that thing to spool up. It's just not happening. They have disconnected him from the sled, and a tough day here for Tom White and the Black Sheep.
It is the beginning of the year, so you're trying to work out all those bugs that you have over the winter time.
Next one up will be Mike Larrabee and a truck called the Shameless out of Crestline, Ohio. 1970-90 series Chevrolet with a KT 450 Cummins under the hood, 1,150 cubic inches.
Wow, Ken, check out that stream of smoke. I have a feeling that he's going to put it out the gate on this one. All that beautiful black smoke, it's narrow. He is on a roll.
Full pull, no problem. The front tire up in the air. We talked about that at the top of the show. When these things start transferring the weight and you see the torque out of this engine, yanks up that left front tire and he's on a ride.
When he came off the line, you saw that big jump and that tire is up. Now they do make adjustments on the rear end to make sure that they can force all that weight to the ground and pull it out the track. They adjust those airbags back there to make sure that the other side that's not lifting is a little bit higher in air pressure so that it's harder, so it's not sinking down and pulling them off to the side of the track.
A great looking run. Let's send it down to Ted, who's standing with a man who just made the pull off.
Mike Larrabee, 351 with an 82. Not only were you pulling that sled, but you're also in a wheel stand competition. This thing was up in the air. The crowd was loving it.
Yeah, this Hales Harley-Davidson Moser Industrial Services sponsored Chevrolet here. Chevrolet Semi. You ever seen that before? Big KT Cummins motor, just doing it. We put her in a big gear. Everybody else was really lugging their stuff. I thought, well, let's try it. We'll see what she's got today.
I talked to you earlier in the day, and we knew that you blew the turbo last week, but it seemed to be working pretty well right now, and you had no problems with the track. Obviously, you like this track.
Yeah, it's a great track. We run in Ohio a lot, and we're used to really good dirt, and they got a really good track here at the Speedway. Guys did a heck of a job putting it in, and that's the kind of clay we love right there. This old Chevy really enjoys a power track.
All right, recharge, baby, because you're in the pull-off.
We're going to give it our best. Thank you, folks.
And here comes Guy Flock in the Scavenger. Sounded a little stranger. 291.50 won't make the pull off. The Kenworth with the V12 Detroit and automatic inside of it sounded like he might have shifted gears there midstream.
Well, if you'll notice, if you watch the smoke, you can kind of see where it happens. You heard the high-pitched whistle of the turbo, and that means that it's spooling really fast, trying to move a lot of air. Right there, you see the change in the smoke color, and that could be where he's downshifted, tried to pick up some more RPMs to get a little bit more ground speed, a little bit more horsepower to drag it out.
Again, a good look at it here. The truck cranked over to the right from the torque of that power plant. Did a good job with what he had to work with. We'll see if Ted has more on the situation here. He's standing down trackside to talk to our puller.
Well, Guy, I mean, all this preparation, the track seems to be holding up real well. 291.5. What went wrong?
Well, I've been having problems with the truck for some reason this year, but it's a long season, so I'll get it running before the season's over.
The big problem in this truck, obviously, is the injectors, right?
Yeah, I think I blew a couple injectors apart last year, and I just haven't had time to find out which ones they are yet. So once I get them fixed, I should be back to the top.
Well, welcome back. Super Joe Metzger and the Brontosaurus. One more crack at it here. The full pull mark is 310. And Leslie looked like he just never got the ground speed.
That old Brockway Husky not coming off the line as fast as he probably should have. Could have taken a lesson from his teammate, but we'll be back with our pull-off next.
We're here at the General Tire Hoosier Classic Truck and Tractor Pull. The Hot Rod Semis are the featured class. We're in the pull-off. 3 trucks will come out here and try to win it all. Right now, we're going to send it down to Ted Brunson with more on today's pull-off.
Well, Ken, as you and every polling fan knows, they've got to set the distance. Yes, they set the bar or the line, so to speak, at 310 feet. 3 people have qualified for the pull-off. It's Team Lindsay, Tom and his wife Dana, and Mike Larrabee, the dark horse that I picked. Not toot my own horn right now. We don't know what's going to happen, but 3 vying for the championship.
We'll give you a good nod on that dark horse there, Ted. Good job. Well, it's Tom Lindsay, Dana Lindsay, and Mike Larrabee in the pull-off.
Definitely no rookies out here tonight. A great shot at that large hook going into the drawbar. And you also see those big weights back there. With these 20,000-pound vehicles, you want to make sure you get all your weight back there because when the sled tops off, it's going to be extra heavy.
Is this what keeps the marriage together? A little friendly rivalry? You and Dana find yourself again in a pull-off?
Yeah. If it doesn't go right, it's a long ride home. We're 500 miles from home.
The question is, what is right? Him winning or her winning? I think we all know the answer. Just give me married. Well, and that truck hanging on right at the very end, 300.61 feet. He will definitely make her go to work to get around that mark.
But we'll see if the diesel doctor gives her as good a tune-up as he gave himself here on the Black Thunder. That Cummins was really screeching off the line, got good RPMs up, good horsepower, little bit of torque. You can see just twisting just a slight bit, just really rolling that thing down the track and trying to get it done. I think that these pulling officials have tightened up the sled, and they're going to make it really tough for these guys to put it out the gate in the pull-off.
Tom, 300 with a 61. Easy question. Is that going to be enough?
I don't think so. I think I'm going to get third tonight with this truck.
Well, how about that? We thought it was a great pull. He doesn't feel very comfortable with it here as we continue on with the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League pull-off in the Hot Rod Semis. Next up, that's Tom's wife, Dana Lindsay, and the Red Hot and Rollin'. You felt like she might have a decent shot at winning here tonight. Certainly did a good job the first pull out here.
She really got that thing moving off the line. And to tell you what, she's a veteran puller, former national champion. So she's got experience on her side. And, she's used to these Ohio River Valley tracks because they pull a lot, like Mike Larrabee said, in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Indiana.
Well, and Tom called that one so far, 3:22.24. She did not waste any time. She dumped the clutch, and that thing was rocking.
I tell you what, it screeched off the line. That Cummins was humming all the way out there. And at the end, you saw it. It was just going, grabbing and grabbing, trying to get as much dirt kicked as it possibly could with those DOT tires back there, inching and clawing for that extra distance. Dana Lindsay knows that the Red Hot Rollin' is going to need it. She's got a tough competitor in the pits.
Going for a ride with Dana on the Red Hot and Rollin', and it's rolling right there. Right on past that 310 mark to 322. Let's check in with Ted.
Nice pull, 322 with a 24. Now, your husband walked by. He did a 300 even. He didn't even give you a kiss or congratulations.
I know, isn't that something? I definitely think I deserve it. Actually, he does, because he does all the work and does a great job on these trucks trying to keep 2 going. It's tough.
Okay, is 322 going to be enough? Because this 1970 Chevy is a pretty bad truck.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I hope not. I hope it is, but we'll see.
Well, in the original pull-off, Mike Larrabee certainly recorded the bigger number at 3:51.82. Let's check in with him and find out how he thinks he'll do.
You've got the top run, Mike, of the first round here. Now you're in the pull-off, but you got something going clankety-clank in that engine right now.
Yeah, there is. I'm not really sure what it is. We'd be under there working on it. We opened the hood, and it's nothing external. Something's making some clunky, clangy noises, but we're going to wind up the old Chevy and see what she's got.
Well, if you want to find out where the weak link is, this will certainly put it to the test.
The Shameless, also one of the manual transmissions in the class. He's got an 18-speed transmission in this thing, so he has 18 different gears to choose from, and I'm going to bet he's got it in a really big one.
Oh, yeah, and he does steal it. 3:51.92. He picked the right gear inside of that Mack transmission behind that KT 450.
Nothing sweeter than a repeater. This is almost an identical distance of his first run, and it looked just as good. You see the front end lift off the line, left tire up, all that torque, horsepower big time going to those rear tires. He's made good adjustments on his airbags on the back to make sure that that weight that he's hauling down the track is really digging in.
Well, congratulations. You predicted it, and you made it happen. 2 very strong runs all the way from Ohio out to here. Just like old school, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We hoped the old Chevy'd hold together for us there, but we got Lucas Oil in this baby, and it held together for us and did its job, and couldn't have worked out better.
All right, it's time now for our General Tire hookup of the day.
Tell you what, he just really had that thing smoking. You know I'm a big fan of that narrow stream of black smoke. Nothing prettier in a tractor pull than seeing all that black smoke up in the air.
Dana Lindsay will receive the Dixie Chopper fan favorite.
The crowd really loves those female drivers and those sparklers. They put on one heck of a good show. Puts her in second place in the points. Early in the year, though, only one event down so far.
We've got a lot of great pulling action to go here with the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League before the end of the season. For Ted Brunson and Leslie Mears, I'm Ken Stout. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.